Slovak terrorists and the potato.
Hi folks, why have I been using Virginia International Raceway so much just recently? Well, my last few videos, if you've been following, have been focusing on the subtle differences between the old Radical SR3 RSX and the new Radical SR3 XX in Rfactor 2. And then I started comparing them to another British prototype type sports car, and that was the MCR 2000. Now, throughout all of those videos, I've been using these British sports cars, but I'm actually using in every single one of them an American track, Virginia International Raceway. So, if you've been wondering why I've been using this particular track, this is why, folks, because both the exact same car and the exact same track are in Automobilista 2. That's right, this is my first cross-sim direct comparison. So we're going to be looking directly at the MCR and how it is in Automobilista 2. It's mainly going to be a comparison of this car and, between the two sims, but also I'm going to be doing a little bit of talking about, you know, the differences between the two sims in general. It's mainly a focus on the MCR, but there will be some general chat. Now, as I said, it's the exact same car. However, I have noticed some differences already. In the specs for this car, it tells you it's got 230 horsepower, which it really doesn't seem to. Seems to be the same, so I don't know if that's correct, because obviously Automobilista at the moment isn't a finished game, it's still in early access, so there are still a few things that need to be corrected, there are things that need to be added in, there's a few things that don't work, but for how it's going, it's doing really well. It also says it's got a 6-speed sequential gearbox. It definitely doesn't, because I've been practicing it all day and it's only got 5. It also tells me it's 1,157 pounds, roughly 525 kilogram. Now, the version in Rfactor 2, and from what I've learned of the actual car itself, is 500 kilograms. Now, I don't know if this is a mistake or not, because what I have noticed is I am not hitting the same top speeds at the end of the main straights on this track, V.I.R, on the end of the main straight. I'm usually hitting in Rfactor without any draft. I'm getting up to around 140-ish. In this car, without any draft, I'm getting up to around 130-ish. And it's kind of the same coming up the S's, the climbing S's, to South Bend as well. It also seems to have an auto lift, which the car in Rfactor 2 definitely does not. They've both got the auto blip. This car, maybe it is a different version because it's got brake lights, and it doesn't have brake lights in Rfactor 2. It's got brake lights in this, though. I'm quite glad of that, though, because they are a little bit different. So yeah. And I have been looking forward to this, because I remember this is, of course, Automobilista 2 is built on the Project Cars 2 engine, the same engine that was used in Project Cars 2. And I remember when my friend Pete first got Project Cars 2, and he sat me in a simulator with a VR helmet, and I thought, wow, this is amazing. I drove around and I went down the hill in a Mustang at Cadwell Park, and coming up the other side, it tricked my mind so much being in VR that I actually got that, you know, when your sort of stomach goes into your mouth almost when you go up and down the hill at 100. Also, the first time I aquaplaned over a puddle, I thought it was great. But we've all heard the horror stories about how Project Cars has some massive inconsistencies between the cars, the force feedback issues. I know there was a patch brought out for that which made it much better. But since AMS has come out, I have watched it. I got it in the early access because Pete, he had Automobilista 1, and I know that was built off the Rfactor G-Motor 2 engine, and it was really good. And he said, oh yeah, Automobilista 2, I'm sure it'd be great. Reza seemed like a great company. You should get it. And he's a very stern man, so I thought, I better do what you say. And I got it in the early access, so I got it for about 20 quid, and I'm bloody pleased that I did, because it's come on leaps and bounds, and I'm actually very impressed. I've been racing all day. I've even been online. I've had my first real race in it, a 10-lap race, and it's been great. So anyway, without further ado, we've got 10 laps to talk about this car. and the racing and the game. So we've qualified here in 6th position. I've actually got the AI in this, about 112. It was about 106% strength in Rfactor 2. I've had to ramp them up a little bit in this. I cannot get the same lap times. I'm coming in around somewhere around the 136s, mid to late 136s in Rfactor 1. I was getting all the way down to 31s, but I just can't do it in this car. As I said, it doesn't seem to achieve the same top speed. Anyway, 10 laps. Here we go. Right. We've got the lights right in front of us, and we are off. Not a great start there. Not a brilliant start. Now the AI, I definitely want to do this with AI because they have come on absolutely leaps and bounds from how they were when it first came out. These have been working tirelessly at the updates, and they are so much better already, and there's still more improvements to be made. Also, it looks great. You know, first thing to say, it looks great. We've got a position already. It looks absolutely great, and to be honest with you, Rfactor 2, with its current updates and the state that it's now in, looks bloody great, unless you're running it on my potato. So, as you all know, if you've been watching my videos, you know that I have to run it in some pretty low graphic settings and some pretty low resolution. If I could run it in the same resolution as I am here, which is 1650 by something or other, well, the res would be looking much better, and I could be running it in much higher graphic settings. A little bit of lift off oversteer I found this car is prone to from Rfactor 2 going on there. But I mean, there are things graphically in this game which Rfactor 2 just doesn't have, like the clouds in the sky. You can actually see the shadows of them on the track surface, and you know, just the general surface around, you can see them. So that's something really good, and I think that would help also with Rfactor 2. When you've got rain reflections, but there's no building or anything for the track to reflect, you don't actually see a reflection. If it reflected the sky, you would. Anyway, I'm running at about 65 frames per second in Rfactor 2 with this track, these cars, the exact same number of cars. I'm running 18 cars on track, just like I did in Rfactor 2, 10 laps, just like I did in Rfactor 2. And I'm getting about 65 frames per second with really low graphic settings. In this I'm doing about 60, but it's a very consistent 60. You just don't get the frame drops as you move around the track, and whether there are cars around you or not, that you do in Rfactor 2. So it runs a lot smoother. Another thing as well is that when it rains in this game, you don't get that huge game knackering FPS drop that you do in Rfactor 2. It doesn't drop by very much at all. But anyway, on to the car. So what I've been learning today is that if you were to take a rough glance at the two cars, just jump into one in Rfactor 2 and then jump into this, you would find that the two cars are very similar in characteristics. And this is great, because I think the logical conclusion as all the sims get more and more realistic, is that any car which is, you know, the same brand, the same model in any sim, they're all going to start feeling more and more the same, because they will be as close to damned it as the real thing. So they're all going to feel like that. So I'm very glad to say that. You have the lift-off oversteer that I noticed in Rfactor. The steering feels similar. It's heavier than the Radical, and slightly heavier in AMS than it is in Rfactor 2, but of course you can change your strength, so I've dropped it down from 100 gain on 4 speed back to 90, which feels pretty much the same sort of strength as Rfactor 2. The cars look exactly the same, but there is the difference that, as I said, in Top Gear I'm just not hitting the same speeds. I'm not getting that 140 mark, I'm getting that 130 mark. It doesn't happen unless I'm in the draft of another car, but I'll get to 140-ish on the main straight. Now, the other thing is, it doesn't, this is why I don't believe that engine figure's quite right. I think it is the same 200 brake horsepower that it is an Rfactor, because it doesn't have the grunt like it doesn't in Rfactor 2. It's got that mid-corner understeer, look at that. When I get to the mid-corner, I'm turning even more, oh my word. It's got that same mid-corner understeer. You can't really use the power to oversteer it out. When I've got my foot hard down there, nothing's really happening. Almost feels like the clutch is slipping. So, very similar characteristics indeed. The cockpits look exactly the same, the readouts are all the same. So, in general, it feels very similar. Oh, we've got a bit being sniffed at by the AI. I don't know why he backed off there. I wasn't paying attention, so I might have just cut into the inside a bit too much, taking the way. The brakes are also very good on this car in AMS, just as they are in Rfactor 2, and that's the thing that's been continually improved in Automobilista 2 as well. The brake feel wasn't great when it first came out, and it's been getting better and better. And also I have been able to go into the control assignments, and I have taken the brake sensitivity right down, as I do have it in Rfactor 2, because it suits my pedal set. It's, you know, very weak plastic Logitech Driving Force Pro pedal set, so, you know, I want to be locking up when I've got the pedal almost all the way down, because there's hardly any stiffness until you get there with this pedal set. South bend there feels a lot like it does in Rfactor 2. You know, I'm lifting slightly for it. I'm in 5th gear as I would be in Rfactor 2. Around Oak Tree there, as I hit that last sharp right-hander, I could come off the power and let that lift off oversteer bring me round. Now, that's the sort of general way of looking at it, if you would just quickly jump between Rfactor 2 and this. If you spend a bit more time with it, though, if you want to look at it, you know, sort of with a fine-tooth comb, the differences are that the steering, although it feels similar, very similar to what it feels like in, I've almost lost it there, and I was doing that in Rfactor 2 actually. If I was going to lose it, I was going to lose it on the bend down spiral, with a bit of lift up oversteer. As you can see though, he's back again, it was quite easy to catch. So I find this car, this version of it in this sim, kind of easier to drive. Everything feels a little bit slower. I know it doesn't look it, because I've got roughly the same FOV going on that I do in Rfactor 2. This is how I like to drive. I like to be able to feel speed. But yeah, everything feels a little bit slower. But when the back end does go, it's a bit more spongy. It's a bit easier to get back. The understeer is even more pronounced. It's oh, we've got another AI sneaking up at the inside there. What's he going to do? Is he going to lift up? Is he going for it? Where is he? Oh, we've got starting to get the tow off the other car there. Oh, he's gone straight down the inside. AI much better than they used to be. Yeah, the steering isn't as direct as it is in Rfactor 2. The force feedback is probably, out of all the other sims, as close as you can get to Rfactor 2, but I'm not getting as much road detail. It's not as quick, it's not as immediate. Same with the brakes, and there's not that kind of definite feel between just skidding a bit and full-on lock-up. But it's not far off. It really is quite well done. But it's definitely more understeery, and everything sort of feels a little bit more exaggerated. For instance, I was talking earlier about the drafting. If I get up behind one of these cars coming down the main straight, or getting to the end of Madison Avenue, which is now coming up, didn't take that corner very well at all. if I'm not behind a car, you know, I'm not getting up to my usual 130. Let's have a look. Oh, sorry, 140. I'm getting up to about 130. Now, if I'm behind another car, like say, I don't know, 80 foot, maybe a bit more than that, I start to catch the draft and the car will literally go 10 miles an hour faster. Now that, to me, feels a bit exaggerated, where compared to Rfactor 2. The understeer, I mean, I've got my foot hard down, and you can hear the engine roaring, but it's like the clutch has slipped there. It pushes to the outside even more than it does an Rfactor 2. And round here, watch, look at that. I really can't do any more with that. I get the same, I get pushed to the outside on Rfactor 2, but the understeer in this is more pronounced. The lift-off oversteer is not as snappy as it is in Rfactor 2. And like I said, I'm just not, you know, feeling what's going on with the road, so much of the curves, the texture of the track. But like I said, it's you know, it's a very, very good close second. So I'm pretty impressed. I've had the AI as well battling me a bit. I mean, look, we're now down in 10th place. They seem to, in the race, they seem, and this is a similar thing to what Rfactor 2's AI do. They get better, and then they have some laps where they're not so good. But I know they get tired in this as well. I think I've heard in the latest update notes that they're sort of programming in tiredness and slightly delayed reactions, maybe something like that after a long race or during a long race for the AI. But they're not bad. I'm not getting rammed up the backside, so that's pretty good. And let's see if we can get 130 this time. Round South Bend. No, can't get it. I can't easily get 130. But we were in Rfactor 2 round South Bend, but we were about 127 there, so it's not too far off. The other thing is I don't have my, in Automobilista 1 they had the mirror configuration very well, the same as they did in Rfactor 1. You could have 3 of them, 3 virtuals, which is useful if you've got a single screen, like me. And you've only got the one in this, and you can't have that without the rest of these other little bits around here. Your gear indicator down there, you know, which I don't need because I've got one in the car. In the centre there. And you've got your position marker up on the left hand side. I would just like to be able to have my mirror on its own, or 3 of them if need be, so I've got my virtual side mirrors as well. And, oh, I don't know who that is behind me. I've got the vehicle labels on, or at least I think they're on. Oh, he's coming through. He is coming through. I'm going to let him do that because I don't want to risk anything. Yes, I did in qualifying have the vehicle labels on, but I don't know what's wrong with this. But there we go. Mr. Jason Peak, number 10. Had a great battle with him in the race I had earlier on today, practice. Yeah, they seem to sort of come on when they want the vehicle labels, and in Rfactor 2 I've got my little bit in the left-hand corner of the screen, sorry, right-hand corner of the screen, which tells me who's in front and behind me, so I have to have vehicle labels. But I hope they do sort out the vehicle labelling this so it's permanently there, because I do prefer the vehicle labelling in this than I do to the vehicle labelling in Rfactor 2, because it's the vehicle label is about 120 foot in the air above the car in Rfactor 2, with a long sort of pointy arrow going down to the car, and I don't want to take my eyes off the road and look 120 foot up in the air to see who's in front of me. I'm sure there'll be something done about that in the new UI in Rfactor 2, which I'm very much looking forward to. are we doing? We are in 11th place. Fuck, we're already on lap 6 out of 10. Wow. So, other things I've noticed about this game, or this sim, if you touch a wall, you just scrape a wall, in this it really does slow your car down, so there's definitely no wall riding going to be done in this sim. However, in terms of things like scraping a wall or damage in general, the damage doesn't really seem finished at the moment. It's definitely, it's not as performance and car damaging as it is in Rfactor 2 in terms of the physical attributes of the damage. There's a bit more going on visually with some of the cars, bits to come off for instance, which is good. I'm hoping they'll do a lot more with that, because I'm very excited to say that I have heard in one of the developer notes, I'm pretty sure I heard it, that at some point we're going to be getting 90s touring cars. And folks, being a massive fan of touring cars in the 90s and one of my favourite ever games that sort of got me into this, you know, gradually led me into the sim racing world, was Chopper World Touring Cars. I really hope that we're going to have the 90s British touring cars with great physical and visual damage, because if you're going to have 90s touring cars, remember how those guys used to be and how some of the touring car drivers still are, you've got to have decent damage, because it's going to happen. I am so looking forward to that. I cannot wait for that. I'm very excited. I did put on the Studio 397 forums. We've got another attack going on here. These cars are getting faster and faster. Can I defend? Can I hold my line? No, he's got the nose. I've got to give it to him. Oh, we had a little bit of a squiggle around there. So did I. Nice to know that we seem to be sharing the same problems. I don't know if they're on the same tyre model as I am, because of course in Rfactor 2 the AI are on a different tyre model. So yeah, where was I? Touring cars, damage, all that sort of thing. Yeah, I did put on the Studio 397 forums that I would love to see a British track pack with all the laser scan British tracks like Brands Hatch, Cadwell Park in Rfactor 2 with a 90s British touring car pack. I would just absolutely die for that. You know, charge me what you like, I'm having it, thank you very much. This really is looking quite nice. I haven't put any rain or utilised the weather effects this time round, because of course when we did the races in Rfactor 2 we did not have that, so I'm keeping things as close as possible. I do like, can you see on my fender here, on my right hand side fender, you're getting a bit of muck and bug build up. That's a nice little touch. And it is a very pretty game. And it just does run so smoothly. I mean, I've got 18 cars on track, that's what I had in Rfactor, but this my little potato can quite happily handle this with the full, I think it is 26 or 28 cars on track that this game will allow. This sim will allow. And the track is feeling, you know, very similar to Rfactor 2, because of course this track was ported over to Rfactor 2 from, I think, Automobilista 1, and it's so similar. And like I say, I'm not getting as much detail as I would with Rfactor 2, but I'm feeling things roughly where I feel in Rfactor 2, if you know what I mean. 2 laps to go. I'm braking in roughly the same places. This whole understeer thing, I don't know if you noticed that kind of swaying there as we went round the corner. When it understeers and then you put the power on, it will sort of swing out like that, which seems, you know, a bit of an effect. It almost feels like a hate to say this, because it's not exactly what I mean, and it's very much over-exaggerated, but it's the simplest way I can think of putting it. It feels a bit like suddenly the car's front-wheel drive and the wheels are spinning a bit too much, so it's skating to the outside of the road. But obviously it's not, it's pushing, but there are, you know, it's not Rfactor 2 basically, but it's continually improving, and I'm so impressed. I really am with, you know, their development updates. They really deserve all the credit they get, and well, hell knows what it's going to be like when they look at those cloud shadows there. Did you see that? And you can see the clouds changing in the sky as well. It's absolutely fantastic. As we come around Bitch Corner, down into Spiral, hard on the brakes. Very much easier to control as well. It's, you know, than Rfactor. It's not, sorry, it's not easier to control. It's both games drive kind of like you'd expect a car to drive. Rfactor just more for me, but easier in that, you know, this is just so much more understeery, and the back end is when it really loses traction. You know the difference between in Rfactor 2 when you're scrubbing it and you're really quickly losing traction. It will do that in this, but it's just a bit easier. I suppose the difference between, oh, I don't know, folks who like the old Golf GTI, that was a bit more, always a very popular car because apparently it was quite understeering. My mate used to have them. I used to have an old 1988 Ford Escort, and that was a bit like lift-offy oversteery in some cases. It's great actually. Anyway, I'm going right off topic. The variety of cars in this is pretty fantastic as well. I'm hoping to see more variety in Rfactor 2. I think Studio 397 are really upping their game. I mean, look what they did with the Le Mans 24-hour. The AI, as I said, they come on leaps and bounds. They are not up on a par with Rfactor's AI, however, I just don't get the same kind of battles as I would with them. They're a bit more nervous of attacking you. You know, there are some gaps they just, you think, why haven't you gone for that gap? And they just don't, and they hang back a lot. When they slow down as well, notice with these cars, when they slow down, this is why I'm quite glad they've got the brake lights, because you can really see the difference. When the brakes come on, it's, you know, they're braking, but when they just lift off, they seem to slow down a bit, like they've put the brakes on. It's not too bad, but it's there. But I'm pleased with the competition I'm getting here. Like I said, I've had to up the AI skill level. But then again, I only ran a 15-minute practice and a 15-minute qualifying session for this. I did notice a little bit like Rfactor earlier on, I let them run for about an hour. And a bit like Rfactor 2, they do seem to, the longer you give them, the more, I don't know if they spend more time setting up their cars or what it is. But it seems to be the way. Look at that understeer there, tons of it. As we totally eat that curve and a bit of the grass as well. As we come down through roller coaster. To Hogs Pen on lap 9 out of 10. And we are in 12th position out of 18. And oh, I don't know what's happening there, but I'm suddenly getting a lot of stuttering from my little potato there. I don't know if this put me off a little bit. I've totally overcooked. Horseshoe bend there. See the of smoke in my rearview mirrors from locking up. I'm not really feeling any flat spotting. I've experienced a tiny little bit in this, but not a lot. That's the first time I've experienced any kind of stuttering like that at all. I couldn't look up to my frame rates in the top left, see if it was the frames that had gone down or if it was just, you know, a memory thing. Maybe there's a process running in the back. They shouldn't be. I've got pretty much everything turned off. I don't know why that happened. I am recording, of course, so I'm hoping that's not my hard drive getting full up. I've got a lot of footage I need to clear out, really. I've been making these videos. I've taken up a lot of space with it. Just look at those areas of sunshine and cloud on the track. It's great. Ah, now there we go. We've got the stutters again there. I don't know why, and I just looked at my FPS, and it was a bit like when it starts to rain in Rfactor 2. They literally went from a good 60 down to 35 I clocked just there. It's the first time that's happened. I'm going to put my foot down hard. Nothing happens apart from I go to the outside there until I lift off. Understeer. Here's a very understeery corner because, of course, that's the off-camber corner, and you get dragged to the outside just like you do with this one. But yeah, as we come round up to roller coaster for the last time, I am enjoying myself. I'm having fun. For the 20-something odd quid, I think it was 21 quid I paid for this. I'm very happy. So, Pete, mate, thanks very much for persuading me into getting this, and I'm only looking forward to what else they bring out. As I am also with Rfactor 2. Oh no, we're on lap 10 of 10, so of course we've got one more lap to go. Excuse me, not thinking there at all. Sorry, false ending there. Come through NASCAR, it's using a little bit of that lift off oversteer. As I said, it's kind of easier in a way than Rfactor 2's MCR because it does feel like you can just put your foot down with this and keep going. Well, no, I think we are finished. We are finished. It just hasn't really given me a clear indicator. I didn't see a checkered flag or anything, but everyone's slowing down, so I'm assuming we are done. But yeah, it just feels like you can really put just plant your foot, and no matter what you do with the car, it'll, you know, just keep going. There's those frame rates dropping again. Whereas in Rfactor 2, if you do something really stupid with the car, it'll bite you like you'd expect it to in real life. I just, you know, I do find Rfactor 2, its tyre model, its FFP, much better in that respect. And oh, I think I have just run out of fuel. Yep, I have run out of fuel, folks. Let's get it off the track. It's trying to auto start. AI being very good and missing me there. Yeah, we're totally out of fuel. Well, folks, yeah, I mean, look at the gloves there. The reflection of the gloves. It looks fantastic, doesn't it? So there you go, folks. My first cross-platform review. I hope you've enjoyed it. Look at these clouds moving across the sky. Lovely. Yeah, this is a great sim. It's a great sim.